Ms. Strickland, you have brought your husband to court to prove he is the biological father of your 4-year-old daughter, Nancy. You say your marriage is strained and claim positive paternity results will save your relationship. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Strickland, you say you need today's results because your relationship can't continue down the path you're on. So, Ms. Strickland, why are today's results so important, and how has this all affected your marriage?
It's affected my marriage in the fact that my husband and I argue a lot. We have problems with trust, and it's very difficult for me because I love him with all my heart, and I would never do anything to betray his trust, ever. I need these results to prove to him that this is his little girl, this is his daughter.
So this marriage can't withstand a negative result?
No, Your Honor, I don't think it could.
Mr. Strickland?
Yes, Your Honor.
Tell the court how this is affecting you.
Well, it's caused a lot of stress in my life. I've had issues with trust. I've had issues with people cheating on me. I got with her and I thought it was completely different. And just one thing after another, it was things showing me that, can I trust her?
Take me back to how you met.
We'd met online on a dating site, and we talked on there for probably 6 or 7 months. And then I got her phone number and called her, and we talked for a while, and we were really good friends. We stayed best friends. We tried dating at that point in time. Unfortunately, I was in a bad relationship. I was in a bad marriage, and so was she. And it wasn't working at that, so we remained friends. We remained friends for 5 years. And then from there, it was, I'd given her a ring. I gave her my family ring. It was like everything just blew up inside of me. I was happy. I was thrilled. I was happy I was around her again.
Ms. Strickland, how did you feel when you first met?
I felt like I had found my best friend. I found a part of my soul that had been missing. My children loved him, I loved him, and I still do.
I mean, it sounds like when you all met, you felt like you had found the person that you belonged to. How did we get here?
It was difficult. My parents had taken my children for 11 months while I was trying to obtain a home for us in a new city. And I was looking for a job. And in the 11 months, I went back and forth from where we were living in Dyersburg to Memphis, back and forth. And in that time, it created jealousy issues. He thought that maybe I was seeing other people while I was going down to Memphis to see my children.
Did you think that, Mr. Strickland?
When she first started going out there, I really didn't, because I was able to go with her. And then all of a sudden it was, didn't want me there no more. And so I figured, this is, something's going on. This is wrong. And then
So you started to feel shunned?
I started to feel shunned by it. And then all of a sudden it was a change in her attitude, a change in the way she was acting towards me.
And so what happened when she told you she was pregnant?
Oh, I was thrilled.
You were?
I was happy as can be. But after about the first couple months, it started to wear off, because I started doing the calculations of when she was pregnant, and we had tried for over a year to get pregnant. And then all of a sudden, we decided we're not going to try no more. We're tired of trying. If it happens, it happens. And then a very short period of time after that, she's pregnant.
And that was right at the time when she started to travel?
That was probably near the end of the time she was starting to travel.
Okay.
She had gone over there, and she'd been to Memphis for probably about a week. And it was kind of rough because, of course I missed her, I loved her. And when she got back, it was the same thing as before. It was, she didn't want me around her, she didn't want me near her. It was like something was missing.
So, Ms. Strickland, did you shun him?
No, Your Honor, it was never intended to shun Mr. Strickland. He pulled back from being affectionate towards my stomach. He would talk to my belly while I was pregnant. he would ignore my belly for a few days, and then he'd talk, and then it just seemed like he was pulling back from not only me, but from my other 2 children.
And at the time, Mr. Strickland, are you helping her through the pregnancy? Are you supporting her, going to doctor's appointments? How are you handling this, knowing you have doubt?
There was a possibility this was my child. I was going to be a man about it and be a father to this child.
So the baby is born. Were you there?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then did you sign the birth certificate?
Yes, Your Honor. And I actually have some exhibits about that. I had some issues with that.
Oh, I'd like to see.
Yes,
Please step over to the exhibit.
Okay.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell.
When they first brought the birth certificate in, I had signed the paperwork. They refused it because me and her were not legally married. She was still legally married to her ex-husband.
Oh.
So they brought in the second birth certificate. She requested to have her maiden name put on it.
Okay.
They said there wasn't a problem with that. She signs the paperwork, they send it off, we wait in the mail for it to come in, and all of a sudden, we're sitting there in the mail and we get the birth certificate in, and I'm happy. I'm thinking, okay, she's gonna have her maiden name, but I can deal with that. And then I see the birth certificate, and this is what I see. I see that she refused the information.
Oh, it says mother refused information under father's name.
Correct.
What happened, Ms. Strickland?
When I asked what the problem was, they said the last name had to be different. It had to be changed. That it couldn't.
Whose last name?
Our daughter.
Okay.
Her last name had to be changed. It couldn't be his last name because we were not legally married.
And you were legally married to someone else at the time?
Yes, Your Honor.
So that person was presumed to be the father?
Yes, Your Honor.
But Nancy's now 4 years old.
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you done anything to change her name?
I've tried, Your Honor, yes.
What happened?
No.
You say she has not?
She tells me repeatedly she has, but I don't think she has because I decided to do a little research myself. She's told me that she's contacted caseworkers, she's contacted courts. Well, I decided to contact the court myself. And I found out I literally could walk in there and within 6 months have it done. All I had to do, I could file a petition for the court for a paternity test. Once it was situated and it was proven whether I was the father or not, I go to the county clerk and then pay my money. And it was nothing to it because at that point in time, they order a new birth certificate. Within a few weeks, it comes in. It wouldn't take but a few months to get it done. It was
So
quite simple.
Nancy's 4. Why haven't we gotten this done?
I actually just found out that I could do this. I didn't know.
Have you been asking Mrs. Strickland for this?
I've been asking her for 4 years to contact the court system.
Whose last name does Nancy have right now?
Right now, Nancy has her ex-husband's last name.
Oh. So Nancy has her ex's last name?
Yes, Your Honor.
Why haven't you gone about this process?
I had no idea that this was an option.
You didn't know it was an option to go down to the court and change the name?
What I was told was I would have to get my ex to deny her paternity, but my ex would not comply. He disappeared.
Who does Nancy think her biological father is?
Me. I am her father. That's all. I'm the only one she's known.
Ms. Strickland, I can see the pain in your eyes. How is this affecting you?
My husband knows that I love him, but he doesn't realize that his lack of trust affects me so harsh. I felt like this was our last resort.
To try to save this marriage?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because you want to be with him.
Yes, Your Honor.
You want to be a family.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Strickland, is this the only doubt you have? Do you have any other doubt?
She had actually started talking to a guy on the same site we were on, that me and her met. And I'd seen the texts. I stopped that immediately.
So you saw text messages in her phone?
Yes, in her phone.
What did the messages say?
Things talking about how beautiful she was, how much he'd like to get to know her, how much he'd like to get to meet her.
Were you sending text messages to another man, Ms. Strickland?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
Why?
I don't know, honestly. I wanted to be with Mr. Strickland, but I guess it was breaking a bad habit. In my prior marriage, I did have a bad habit of being unfaithful.
Oh.
He was unfaithful with me, I was unfaithful with him.
And so in this marriage, you're just going back to your old ways?
In the beginning, yes, I did.
So have you been unfaithful during this marriage at all? This marriage?
No, Your Honor.
What about the pictures?
That was before we were married.
That was part of this relationship.
What pictures?
When she started working, at one point in time, she was flirting around with one of her coworkers. I seen text messages. I asked her about them. She told me that she had been texting him, and that was it. Well, I decided to look online, and I checked out her history, and I seen that she'd sent pictures. I actually have those pictures.
I'd like to see them. Jerome, will you hand me that evidence, please?
Yep. Here you go, Your Honor.
Please describe to the court what these pictures
Those are
indicate.
pictures that I actually myself have taken.
So you took the pictures,
Yes.
but she sent them to another man.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh.
Then there's one picture that she had sent that was very provocative that I had taken in the privacy of our own home. And when I found out she had sent the pictures, I pretty much came unglued at that situation. I smashed the phone. I went nuts. It made me mad.
In the photo that is way too hot for this courtroom, describe to the court what was depicted.
Her laying out on the bed, nude. I thought it was a beautiful picture because of the way the sun came across her body. I can't even look at that picture anymore.
Because you took a picture of your wife, but you thought it was for you,
Yep.
for your eyes only.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Strickland, you sent it to another man.
Yes, Your Honor, in retaliation.
What happened?
Shortly into Mr. Strickland and I dating, he tells me that he wants to go and spend the day with a friend. I get up in the morning, the following morning, and his phone goes off. I look at the text message, it's from his ex-girlfriend saying that they had a really great day and that she'd like to do it again. He'd spent all day the day before with his ex-girlfriend, and instead of doing something that foolish, I sent a picture of myself naked to a ex-coworker. I didn't physically spend any time with anybody else.
So you're admitting to it.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you were out with your ex-girlfriend, Mr. Strickland.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So, Ms. Strickland, did anything else happen with this coworker after you sent this nude picture to him?
No, Your Honor. I ended communications a day or so later when I went back to work.
So now Nancy is 4 years old, and this entire marriage and relationship is on the line, all because of a paternity issue. Do you believe he has a right to have those doubts?
No, Your Honor.
You don't.
I don't.
After hearing the testimony today, Mr. Strickland, are your doubts still as strong?
They're actually a little stronger.
Really?
Realizing how easily we could have got her name changed, why hasn't she done it? I don't have time. I work all day.
Why haven't you done it? I mean, he's working. You just need $153. Ask for the DNA test to start the process. Why haven't you at least gone to talk to a lawyer about it if you needed legal help?
Haven't had the money, Your Honor.
Okay. And so if Mr. Strickland is not Nancy's biological father, is there any way that your ex is?
No, Your Honor.
No.
There is no possible way that anyone else is Nancy's father. I want him to know that I've never been unfaithful to him. I want him to know that our marriage is still intact and it's going to be as strong as it ever could be.
When you hear your wife say that, how do you feel, Mr. Strickland?
It hurts because I want to trust my wife. I want to know she's faithful to me. I want to know that Nancy's mine.
I think it's time for the results. Jerome? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Strickland versus Strickland, when it comes to 4-year-old Nancy Elizabeth, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Strickland, you are the father. Are you happy to hear that?
Very.
You needed that confirmation.
Yes, I did.
How do you feel, Ms. Strickland?
I knew he was the father. I've never had a doubt.
Mrs. Moon-Merrifield, you say your family is in jeopardy of being torn apart.
Yes, Your Honor.
You've dragged your husband, Mr. Merrifield, to paternity court to prove that he fathered your 20-month-old son, Kane.
Yes, Your
You
Honor.
claim he's been denying your son since birth.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Merrifield, you believe your wife cheated on you and has been lying about Kane's paternity, and now you say a divorce is next.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mrs. Moon-Merrifield, how do you feel having to come to court today?
I'm pissed because I've been with him for 16 years on and off. Nobody's perfect. He's made mistakes. I've made mistakes. I've given him 3 kids with 1 on the way, and he should know my character better than that, than to sleep around with another man.
Mr. Merrifield, there's a lot at stake here today.
My family is on the line. I have divorce papers here. For
Let me see that
50%.
evidence. Jerome, hand that to me, please.
You know,
you have the divorce papers already
Yes, ma'am.
filled out. They're just, what, awaiting execution?
I need to find out the answer if this is my child or not.
He always
Get some
results to
help.
that. Anytime we have a fight or an argument or whatever, it's always divorce. It's never work it out, let's talk, whatever. He always throws up divorce in my face like I'm supposed to just melt to my feet. You know, like people have been through worse than what we've been through. And he always just at the littlest thing brings up divorce.
It's not a threat. It's, that's how I feel. Reason why we're here in the first place, man, I caught her texting some dude that supposedly was supposed to be her ex-boyfriend that was right before my 2
Yeah,
sons was
he did.
born.
Yeah, he
whatever.
did.
I've seen some Facebook messages from these guys, this person before. Well, it
Yeah,
was
he
somebody
did.
else.
But it's okay when he does it.
No, she.
He lets his imagination, his mind go off. Oh, well, if you said this, then it's probably this and this. And if you did this, then, if you said this, then you're probably thinking this. And I know guys, and, but it's okay for
But
him.
you admit you were texting someone
I
else,
did.
another
Yeah,
man.
I did, yes.
Your Honor?
He's friends with every Facebook woman that he's ever slept with. They comment on stuff. But if it's me, I want to sleep with this person. I'm
Is that
automatically
true,
wanna-
Mr. Merrifield? Is there a double standard here?
No, there's
Yes.
not a double standard.
Yes,
Your
there
Honor.
is. No.
You texting
happening?
these dudes about y'all. I got evidence of the text messages and stuff too. This is just one text.
Let
that
me
I have
admit it.
from
Let me-
one
I
person.
admit
it to the
from
text
from one
messages. It
person.
doesn't matter.
Okay,
Mr.
but if you read
Merrifield,
between
Mr.
the lines,
Merrifield.
slept with
if you read
anybody.
between the lines, y'all
Let's
talking
get some
about
order.
being
In
having
your
taking a
line.
date,
In
going
between.
on a date.
I want to understand this. You say these are messages.
This is just the evidence that I have right now. I have
That you found.
Yes. She has more. That's me. I'm
I
texting
admitted
one,
to all my
that
my
message
messages.
right there. I'm texting
And?
one of the
So?
dudes that she was talking to right
So?
there.
And
You
so
do the same
this is a
thing.
message where you text this man.
Yes.
And you say, are you messing with my wife?
Yes.
And he says, hey, bro, don't nobody want your wife. I'm far from it.
I'm
And I'm
not
not
thinking
about
it
to
is
be
the whole time
arguing
either.
with you. You need to be with your wife instead of acting like a clown. And so
Yeah,
what you
and he
have...
acts
And
crazy.
look at the number that's on there, the call log, on how much they're talking. That's why I'm acting crazy.
I can
because
talk to anybody I want to talk
all
to.
day
You
long,
talk
every
to
day when I'm
somebody.
doing
So,
in front of my
Miss
face.
Moon-Merrifield, this is a call log of several calls
more than
to the same number.
back to back every minute, like 3 texts and
messages,
4 or
yes,
5 texts
but it's
each
not,
minute.
It's not like that. It's a LOL or laugh
LOL.
out loud or
What
whatever.
y'all
It's not like,
laughing
ooh,
about?
we just going back and forth just like that.
Is this a person you've been intimate with?
No, I've never been intimate with the person at all. But let him tell it, you're lying. You have to be. Every time I talk to somebody,
You've been
it
together
doesn't
how
even matter.
long?
16 years off and on.
Take me back. Let me understand how this relationship started. So you all were, what, high school sweethearts?
Something like
Yeah.
that.
He was
Something
in junior
like that?
He was in junior high. I was in
13,
high school.
I was 13, she was 14. I used to walk to school, pick up those little things that you blow, and you close your eyes and make a wish.
Yes.
I used to walk to school in 7th grade, and I used to see those and pick them up and wish, like, oh, I love this girl. I wish I have a family and kids by this girl. You know what they say? Be careful what you wish for. And I used to wish for that all the time.
Really, Mr. Merrifield?
So We was together, the first 3 years was good, all the way up until 18. Once we turned 18, she started saying, I was her first boyfriend, first everything, so she wants to experience, other men and other things. So I'm like, okay, I have to deal with that. She'll break up with me for a weekend, go do whatever she want to do and come back and want to be back together on a Wednesday.
That's a lie.
What I'm saying? She always put other men before me. You know what I'm saying? When
That's
it comes
how he
down
feels.
to it,
Those are his insecurities.
She always
That's how he
chooses them.
feels.
When we get into a situation about somebody, if she catches me, like she said, talking to a woman or someone, a friend, I will fix it and end it. Or someone
No,
that's
he
more than a
doesn't,
friend.
because he has a female to
Right.
this day. Still has his number. He made me change my number, but he won't change his number. And he tells me, just because they crossed the line one time, they can still be good friends.
No, the reason
but
why
because it's me, oh no, I automatically want to have sex with this person.
She does
And
it
so
And
you
I'm all
two
type
are
of names.
in a
I'm
marriage,
hoes, I'm
but
this, I'm that.
functioning
like this.
you just dating.
Yeah.
There's no commitment.
Basically, yeah. No commitment, no communication, no loyalty.
Because everything has to
none
be
of that.
his way.
No,
I have to
it has to
serve
be
him.
the way
He
by
tells
the
me
book.
I need
But what
to-
it sounds like to me is you've been together. You have had 16 years to figure out how to set some boundaries,
Yes.
some working parameters, expectations concerning how you want to operate as a family.
We have.
I mean, what I'm listening to, it just feels like anything goes. So, Mr. Merrifield,
Yes.
can you please explain to me the doubt you have concerning Cain's paternity?
Okay, the doubt that I have, the reason why I have doubt is I found her texting 3 different dudes. 3 of them she already slept with and she loves. There's her love. One of them is the love of her life. You know what I'm saying? Who she's in love with. She's
was
texting
in
these
high
guys
school.
that
It
they
was
love each other.
one of my
She's
first
texting these
people
guys
I
that they
talked
love
to.
each other. She's supposed to change her number. She changed her number. Then she starts emailing, I love you to him. And then I catch the email.
You're exaggerating.
I
No,
catch. I
I
find the
didn't.
email. Then then from the email, she makes a fake app. The texting app, that fake app, goes and downloads a fake app. And now she's texting
Because he
from a
goes
fake
through my
app.
call
Now she
log
got
and
the
he
fake
calls
number.
every
She's
number
calling them.
on there.
She's calling
every number.
She goes
It
through
could
the-
be
she can do it
anybody.
to me,
Then
though.
it-
She can
oh,
go
if it's
through
a
the
block
call log
call,
and get my numbers.
Who's the block number?
She could go to the
bill collector or this or that.
She's been so sneaky to
He-
me.
he just
and
goes
not
beyond.
loyal.
It's all
So
his
I can't.
imagination.
It's not my imagination. It's proof.
He always talking about his needs and this and that and that. But what about my needs?
I take care of you.
This
Whatever
year
she
on my
needs, whatever
birthday,
she needs.
we go to dinner. He didn't even pay for the dinner for one. I had to tell them on my own that it was my birthday. I didn't get a Mother's Day gift. He don't take no time. He don't put no thought into it. Well, I didn't know what to do, so whatever. But
No, that's
he's
a
so
lie,
worried
Ron.
about me pleasing
That's a
him
lie,
and
'cause
everything
you know
like
what?
that.
She gets
But
so
he does
much-
not.
She don't
he
do
does
nothing.
not.
Is that
take the
why
time.
you do enjoy texting
Yes,
or
I
talking
do.
to other
Yes.
men?
He criticizes everything I do. Oh, I would have had this whole thing done within an hour. You're supposed to do it this way. I don't live with my father, never have. I'm a grown woman. And
Thank you for the correction. But I get the point. So, Mr. Merrifield, this is your wife. Your child was born within your marriage. Were you intimate with your wife during the time the child was conceived?
Yes.
You were. All right. So now you know that there is at least a possibility this child can be yours.
Yes.
Do you have proof that your wife was intimate with anyone else during that time
Besides
as well?
the text messages, no. But her ex-boyfriend, the one who I think might be the dad, she was talking to his mother and sent her a picture of his 1-year-old son around the same age as my son.
Why do you think she sent the picture?
So she could compare.
So you think her ex is the father and that's why she sent the picture?
That's the possibility.
he has no proof.
Ma'am, please stand. State your name.
My name is Nicole Andre.
Miss Andre, what do you know about this situation? Mr. Merrifield has stated that the reason why his wife says she's even with him is because it's your fault, because you took him in and she had no one else to date and now she's caught in this.
That's what she says all the time. Does she say it
Every time it's bad, she blames it on me. When it's good, it's not my fault. But he also, if I'm on my daughter's side, then I'm wrong, or I'm taking her side, or I'm against him. I have been with this little boy, this young man, since he was 14 years old. He still doesn't know how much I love him. He still thinks I try to come between them. I want my daughter to have her husband and her whole family together because she wasn't raised with her father. But he's too stupid to know that. He thinks I'm against him. I'm for him, always for him. But I'm for her too. I can't always be on his side because he's not always right. She's right sometimes and sometimes He's right. She's wrong for doing that text. I told her she shouldn't do that. I'm never telling her or encouraging her to treat him bad. Now, when he's ignorant or he's acting crazy, yeah, sometimes I tell her, you need to walk away, because Devontae's acting crazy.
They say I'm acting crazy, though.
But I love him.
When I find
but
this
he's
stuff,
emotional.
When I find this
Devontae
stuff,
is very emotional.
All
right.
Do I love you, Devontae?
Yes, you do.
I'm always telling her to be with you.
Because she always taking your advice.
You make
Your advice
no sense.
ain't always the right advice
I'm not
to
a
take.
follower. I'm not
Well,
a
who's
follower.
right? Who's
I'm
right?
All
not a
right,
follower.
family. Miss Andre, let me ask you. Do you believe Cain is your grandson?
I know Cain is his. I know Cain is his.
You do?
My daughter would tell me. She would tell me if she told him before when it was Kaveh, my first grandson, that he knew that might have been a possibility slightly.
No,
Because we had just got together.
But I didn't.
And he thought Kaveh wasn't his.
I didn't have
When
no doubts
Kaveh
about
came
that. I
out,
didn't think
he
nothing
looked
about that.
identical
I
to
couldn't
him.
get pregnant for 9 years. I could not get pregnant. And all of a sudden, when we got back together,
were off and
I
on
got
for
pregnant.
9 years.
So he said, yeah, he
We
had
all-
a little
I
bit
even
of
was
doubt.
a little
But
nervous.
when
I'm
that
not gonna
son
lie.
came out, because he was light-skinned and he had colored eyes,
Both his-
automatically, that was his son.
His first two children.
But I could have been messing
just
with
like
somebody
him.
light-skinned with colored eyes. Like, how are you going to deny this one, but not
This
deny
This one
that
looks
one?
like her, but his dad is
And
dark.
so, was Mr. Merrifield at Cain's birth?
He was there through the whole
He's with everybody.
I
My
was,
doubts
had a
has nothing to-
6-month-old
my
baby
doubts-
when
my
I got
doubts has
pregnant with Cain.
nothing
I
to
didn't
do
have no time. I
with
was
my son's
breastfeeding
looks.
at home 24/7.
My doubts has to do with the situation.
He didn't start the denial until the text message.
Do you all realize that you're talking exactly at the same time and I can't hear what either one of you are saying?
Right.
Just let her finish. Go ahead, ma'am.
He was there through the whole thing. I had a 6-month-old son. I was at home 24/7, breastfeeding, being with my son. I had no time to go nowhere else. I'm not that type of person. I'm not that type of woman.
So, Mr. Merrifield, why is it you have so much doubt? I know the text messages, but when she became pregnant,
Yeah, when she
and she told you, did you immediately say, I don't know if that child is mine?
No,
or
no, I
You
didn't.
thought at first?
Yeah, I mean, when he got here, and I kind of was looking at him. You know, when he came out and he was born, but I was looking at him just to see, like, if he had the eyes or whatever.
Yeah, he would stare at him.
But
he would stare.
they're
He
saying that's
called
the
him his
reason why
son
they
of
think-
color.
that's-
He calls it, oh, come here, my son of color.
don't
And then
say that.
you did call it. You never called him my son of color.
Never has that.
He tells her to
Yes,
get her
he did.
son, get her son.
He would stare at him and he'd be like, he'll stare at him and be like, I'm trying to see if he has the eyes. I'm like, every child you have are not gonna have your eyes.
Some
I'm
of them
a
look
brown
like her.
woman. I have brown eyes. My son is brown and he has my beautiful brown eyes.
Well, then you know what?
And I have the evidence over here that I did the research that over green and brown eyes, the brown eyes are the dominant trait anyway.
Let me see your research, ma'am.
And now they're always saying
He's always
they're
changing his
they're
story.
always saying no. You guys are always saying that he don't got the
When
eyes.
he's
he don't
mad
got
at
the
me,
man.
that he don't look like
Yeah,
me
I say
anyway.
that to hurt
He
you.
looks
I say that to
nothing
hurt
like
you,
me. Then he
but I
goes,
don't really-
oh, they're brothers through you because you're both their mother.
So look, let's
Not through him.
Listen, let's just break this down. If Cain is your biological child, you want to work on this marriage?
Yes, but we can't have a third party in it. And it's not gonna be successful.
We don't even live close to her.
I don't even get in y'all business no more like that. Don't lie,
Don't even
Devontae.
start. Don't even start.
But before this,
Let's get some order. We're not gonna go off on that tangent.
he's trying to tarnish her. But
I'm
he
not
cheated
trying
on
to how am I
He's
trying to
cheated on
tarnish
her
her?
so many times. He had a
I haven't even said
possibility of
the stuff, the
another
real facts
child
that I got to
before this.
tarnish her. I
and
have
she was
not.
still gonna be with him.
I haven't.
So he's cheated on her a
If you
lot.
want- if you wanted
he's
me-
cheated on
she
her
cheated
a
on
lot.
me way more than I
he's
cheated on
her
her.
a lot.
All right.
So there-
Bottom
She cheated on
line
me
is,
way
bottom
more.
line is,
And it's not about
Listen,
that. It's about since
Mr.
we've been married.
Merrifield.
What's
Merrifield,
going on
about everything.
Judge is
Mr.
speaking. You have to
Merrifield.
be quiet.
I realize you're
Be getting out
passionate
this
about
courtroom
this.
then, man.
I realize you're passionate, and I realize you have a lot of
No, because-
devotion. And I know there is a lot riding on these results today. I get it. So let's get them.
Judge.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Moon-Merrifield versus Merrifield pertaining to 20-month-old Cain Merrifield, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Merrifield, you are Cain's father.
Or an apology, Devontae.
Well, Brittany, I apologize for having doubts that he wasn't my son. But if you can't understand from everything that's been going on of where the doubts are coming from, you're not perfect. I haven't even put some of the stuff out there, what I think of my doubts. No, I know. I never said it, but y'all trying to make it seem like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm not trying to make it seem like anything.
But I apologize. Now we have to figure out what we have to do to fix our dang marriage. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm happy you know now. I really am. I could see the emotion in your voice. I could see your body language. You were so pent up with anxiety. It was like you were about to explode over there.
No, because I have a whole lot to say.
Let me tell you
I got even more to
something.
say,
Let me
but
tell you
I'm not-
something. Let me tell you something.
It's not about
What
making
needed
somebody
to
look
be
bad.
said has been said. That's your son. So what you guys have to do now, you all gotta start over. This right here, this thing you all calling a marriage, it's a mess. You gotta start back at A. You've both made a lot of mistakes. You have no boundaries. You have no parameters. No one knows what the other one should be doing. You gotta set rules in relationships or they will fall apart. Ms. Wilson, you're in the middle of a paternity triangle, caught between two men you slept with, cousins who grew up as brothers, two men who believe they fathered your 10-month-old son, Arrow. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Nicola, you've always believed Arrow is your biological son, and you are here to prove that today because your whole family has come to love him as yours. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Eddy, you admit to sleeping with your cousin's fiance. You and your aunt contend you are Arrow's father and plan to prove it today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And for the record, these two young men are first cousins,
Yes, Your Honor.
and their mothers are identical twins.
Yes, Your Honor.
So I'm not sure how much looks is gonna play in this equation. So, Ms. Wilson, I want to ask you, how do we end up in a paternity dispute involving two cousins?
I messed up. I made a mistake. I'm here today to figure it out. I don't want the family feud going on anymore, and me exactly in the middle of it, my child in the middle of it. One night, there was a family get-together. There was alcohol involved. Cordell had been tired from work that day. He had work the next day, and he didn't want to drink. We had all gotten hot inside. Nathan and I went outside. I became very intoxicated, and he kind of like took care of me, and before it ended up, we were on a hay bale and we had sex.
Wow. Mr. Eddy, what is your recollection of this night?
I mean, I wish it wouldn't have happened because, you know, he's my cousin. She told me that I was really cute and she kissed me. And then we started walking to the hay bale and it just went from there.
So you had sex on this hay bale
Yes, Your Honor.
outside of the house where your cousin was in there sleeping after work.
Yes, Your Honor.
How many times did you have sex that night?
Twice, Your Honor.
So is it safe to assume that it was unsafe sex?
Yes, Your Honor.
So no protection. What happens when you wake up the next day?
He went to work and we just kept it secret until the week.
So, Mr. Nicola, they admittedly kept it a secret. What was your recollection of that night?
I came home from work. I dozed off on the couch, woke up. They were all outside. It was like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I went out and told them it was time to come in because it was getting late. And I came in, I put everybody to bed, being responsible, because I had to get up early the next day. And I went and slept on the couch again, got up for work the next day.
And you had no idea that your cousin had had sex with your girlfriend out on the hay bale before you put them to bed?
No, Your Honor. He is my cousin. and I trusted her.
And it happened twice. It happened that night after Cordell had put us to bed.
Oh, after he put you to bed, you had sex again?
Yeah.
Yes, Your Honor.
Wow. So how do you have sex with your first cousin's girlfriend?
To be honest with you, I wasn't really thinking that night. She told me also that they were on a break, that they weren't together at the time.
But it's still your cousin's girl. There's gotta be, they got guy code and girl code. Is there like a family code where it's like, even if you and your girl fall out, I'm your cousin. I'm not gonna sleep with your girl.
Yeah.
How did you even find out about this affair?
We went to the movies on October 13th, and Kayla told me to put the candy in her purse. I put the candy in her purse, I looked over, and they were holding hands. And
When you look over, your girlfriend is holding hands with your cousin.
yes, so I asked them if they had sex, and then she finally answered it. I told her I needed to go outside, take a breather, and I was honestly gonna hit Nathan. And she was like, no, you're gonna sit right here and finish this movie. So I just went over, I leaned over to the other side of the chair, and I just sat there and finished watching the movie.
You gonna sit over here and finish watching this movie? Oh, really?
Your Honor, I didn't want to start an argument in the movies because there was other people and I wanted to be respectful.
Oh, you want to be respectful.
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
Okay, so but I get it. You're saying I don't want to make a scene in here.
yeah.
All right. And so, Mr. Eddy, I have to ask you, what gave you the nerve, the gumption in the movies to reach over and hold Miss Wilson's hand basically in front of your cousin?
She told me we were in a relationship at the time. We were together until they moved away, which I honestly can't remember the month that was.
Oh, wait, after the night on the hay bale outside, you all continued to have sex, and so you thought y'all were together?
Yes, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, it wasn't right after that. It was after I found out I was pregnant that we semi-made it official because we took
You
a break.
semi-made it official with Mr. Eddy?
Yes.
Hold on.
Well, there was more women that Cordell was talking to, so I figured that I would just let him have those women, and I would carry
Your
on,
Honor,
I guess.
that was after I found out that they had sex, so I kept talking to the other people.
I bet you did. I mean, this is just... So, take me to the point when you find out you're pregnant, Miss Wilson.
It was October 17th. I woke up that morning. Something literally just told me to take a test. So I did, and it came back positive. And I couldn't believe it at first because I had a miscarriage the beginning of that year with Cordell. Nathan was at the house, so I told Nathan first, and I asked him to come to the bathroom.
She was like in shock, like a shock yell, and I was like, okay, I went in there, she showed me, and I just become in complete, like, oh, you know, I'm a dad, first-time dad. And she said, well, I'm happy for you. She said, but let's figure out who it belongs to.
Oh.
That's always been my dream, to have a kid. And I told Kayla, well, once we started talking, that if I was going to have a baby, I wanted to have one with her. So that kind of made me think, you know, maybe.
So, Mr. Nicola, it's odd because we started with you. Now I feel like the whole tide is switched and now we're over with Mr. Eddy. But when did you find out Miss Wilson was pregnant?
The same day, I came home from work with my son, and she told him to tell me that there was a pie in the oven, and I asked her what kind, because I was hungry after work, and I didn't catch on.
Oh, you cooked? Oh, thank God you cooked. That's what you were thinking.
I didn't catch on. She showed me a pregnancy test from where we did have a miscarriage. I was happy for her.
Why are you emotional? What are you feeling, Mr. Nicola?
I just really want
You said you just really want...
Arrow to be mine.
Oh. The consequences, right? Isn't that one of the most important lessons we learn in life? consequence.
And right now, I've seen everything with Arrow because I've been there the entire time.
And I'm sure this entire situation is just weighing on you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, that's why we're here today. I messed up. I made a big mistake, and I really ruined a family. And I'm gonna be the first to call myself out because it wasn't right. And I just wanna figure it out. I know somebody's gonna get hurt today, and I'm sorry to everyone involved. But I just wanna get the story ended.
I appreciate your honesty. It's not easy to stand where you're standing either. And what I find so fascinating and hopeful at the same time is really a woman in your position. I mean, you really could have come up in here looking like Satan's sidekick. No, let's be honest.
But I deserve it. I did it, so I have to take control for it.
Well, and that's why we are here. In order to move forward, we have to see how we got here so that we won't go back there again, right?
Yep.
Can you take me to your pregnancy? Who went to the doctor's appointments? Because you all are living in one house. So who went to the first doctor's appointment?
For the first 10 weeks, both of them attended my doctor's appointments. They both were there to see my first ultrasound of the baby, to hear the heartbeat the first time. I knew I'd messed up, and I didn't want either one of them to miss out in case, you know, whoever's it came back to be, which I believe it's Cordell's, but just in case, I didn't want to be the bad person and let Nathan miss out, which I've never tried to keep error from anybody.
And these are pictures of you with both men, Mr. Nicola on the left and Mr. Eddy on the right, during your pregnancy. I'd never seen anything like this. What are you thinking, Mr. Eddy, at this time when all this is going on and you're going to doctor's appointments together, and what are you thinking?
Basically, I know that I messed up everything. Blood's thicker than water. I should have known that. I regret it. I mean, I love Kayla, don't get me wrong. But I shouldn't have done that to Cordell. And I take it back.
And I can see how emotional that makes you.
But then again, I kind of hope he sees because I did take advantage and step in between them. I shouldn't have done that.
You know, you're a young man, but I think you stated that very clearly. On the one hand, you hope you are Errol's father because you want a son and you love the baby.
Yeah, sure.
But on the other hand, you hope it's your cousin because you know you did the wrong thing.
Yeah, sure.
And this won't be a constant reminder to him of the wrong you did.
Yeah, sure.
I think you summed that up. So as you look at these pictures of you holding Arrow, what do you think?
Well, I see a lot of my features, but I see a lot of Kayla in him too, though. So, I can't say for sure.
And Mr. Nicola, as you look at the pictures, what do you see?
He's got my ears and my brown eyes.
But this is hard because you all are family. Your first cousins and your mothers are identical twin sisters. The similarities would be there. I need to understand, how close in proximity were you intimate with both men, Mr. Nicola and Mr. Eddy?
I had sex with Nathan on October 7th. Before that, I had sex with Cordell. It was the 4th or the 5th of October.
So you actually submitted a calendar to the court. You had sex with Mr. Eddy on October 7th. Your doctor's appointment was the week of the 30th, and you were told you were 4 weeks pregnant. Mm-hmm. Your doctor then gives you a conception date around October 7th.
Yes, Your Honor.
Which would point to Mr. Eddy. But because you just said you were intimate with Mr. Nicola 2 or so days before, we're still in the window.
Yes, Your Honor.
I get you would still want to be in the relationship with Mr. Nicola if you want it, but are you just saying you believe he's the father because you want the relationship with him? Is it just something pulling you in that direction because that's what you want, or do you?
No, I looked it up, and there's like a window of like 5 days and like your conception that you're fertile and you ovulate and stuff, and so I'm going based on that.
Your Honor, that's another reason why I believe 100% Daddy's mine.